people make it seem as though it's so easy to act your age, like it's a one size fit all, like we're all gonna start off this way, and if you go to school, you get that job, you do all of these things, you will land up in that perfect place. And so in as much as I think acting your age is societal norms and all of that stuff, I think it's also very unrealistic. For you guys who don't know, Ziggy's nyash, you know?
Oh my gosh,
It's true.
Right, it's so important to like put your situation into context and say it's not necessarily that you're falling behind, it's just that the route you're taking is different from someone else's, so you can't actually compare.
Okay, it's officially episode 2.
We're back again.
Ba, 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 ba.
What did we say? We said last week we'd be back again to unravel again, and here we are back again to unravel in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching us, see how gorgeous we look. Look at the like gorgeous girls. We are proudly dressed by Doll Thamer.
The one and only darling.
Listen. Welcome back, my friend. First of all, congratulations to us. Like, yay to us. Like,
It's giving consistent.
listen, consistent queens over here.
Like, okay.
I'm so proud of us. I genuinely am. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know we actually haven't spoken.
True.
I know many people would disagree, but we really have not spoken.
True.
How have I been doing? I think that I'm dealing with a lot of change all at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's somewhat overwhelming. So like every day, one thing that I've been holding on to is that the mercies of God are renewed every morning.
Amen.
So like that's where I'm at. Besides that, I just got my hair done.
Listen.
Like, I'm a brand new hand.
Listen.
Yeah, I think that it's just a lot of change. How are you doing?
I think the week has been kind of rough. Like, I said this on my Instagram. I've been dropping so many balls, Like, this week was just like let down after let down, and not a situation of like literally all me. Go on when you can now see, but like you're the problem. I'm the problem. Like literally, this whole week I have been the problem, and I think just even today, like getting up this morning, I literally had to just forgive myself, and remind myself that like actually like God is gracious, is forgiving. I should allow myself to have the forgiveness and just start again as if I haven't known failure, because it's the only way to actually keep going. To forgiveness and grace.
It's so true. And what you're saying is literally, I think I posted a story the other day. Like I was going through some work things and like, yay, guys, how did I get this job?
Yay.
I was literally like, okay, this is a whole nother ball game, you know? And like I'm surrounded by people who like know their thing and they're out here killing it, you know? And I'm really just like, what's going on? Like I know what you're saying, right? Like I know, but like it's just more time of me going to study the organization and study what exactly is happening. Because also I would say I'm a perfectionist. You know? And I've heard a lot of people say I'm a perfectionist and all of that stuff. What that means for me, it's that it needs to make sense to me in order for me to make sense when I'm doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So like you'd find that people are like, no, but you're doing what you're supposed to do. It looks amazing. Like you're doing a great job. But unless I actually process to understand what's going on, like I'm not taking your words for it. But I think that's why I love when you said forgive yourself and be gracious, because you need that.
Literally. Okay. Getting into today's topic, right into it. Today we're talking about acting your age. We sort of like hinted at this week's topic is acting your age. I think, firstly, before we even go far, like, you know, people, it's only when you grow up, when you start growing a little bit, where like people, you start hearing it, like we see like there's something that people say that people your age are doing at your age. At your age. So like, I think, what is acting your age in your opinion?
I think acting your age, we hear it from a very young age, you know? Like, you know, you're in grade 3 and you hear people say, you're a grade 3 boy, start acting your age, you know? And then you get to a specific time in your life where like, you've been working towards it, you know? I feel like, you know, the age that we are at, that's the age where a lot of people say, by this time I should have a house, I should be married, I should have a car, I should have all of these things, you know? So I feel like the definition of acting your age, right, is like to meet the societal norms of being able to take care of yourself and the relevant people in your life, right? And there's that pressure in order to get there, right? And I believe that people make it seem as though it's so easy to act your age, like it's a one size fit all, like we're all gonna start off this way, and if you go to school, you get that job, you do all of these things, you will land up in that perfect place. And so in as much as I think acting your age is societal norms and all of that stuff, I think it's also very unrealistic. Because it's the first time I'm this age.
Like, what do you mean?
I just got here, you know?
Literally.
Like, there's no memo, you know?
Yeah.
So when you're telling me act your age, it's like, give me the information to study to act my age.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But then there are really people who are not acting their age.
Yeah, vocally.
Okay, yeah.
I love that.
What do you think it is?
I think obviously definitely agree with what you're saying. Just in my own terms, I feel like it's comparison. Because like when someone says at your age, like then you have to be looking, what are other people my age doing? Because like you said, there is no memo. So the only way to look is next to you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she's also 25. What is she doing?
Yeah.
Like she's also like we're in the same level where like what are they doing?
Yeah.
And am I there too?
Yeah.
I think like literally when I hear that phrase at your age, it's immediately it's just compare.
Yeah.
It's like what parents would do, like when you have a neighbor,
Yeah.
let's say, who's in the same grade or you, but you know, it's always comparison. So like, yeah, I think to me, like when I hear that phrase, at your age, look at what other people are doing and see, are you doing it? Are you hitting the mark?
And do you know what the sad thing about comparison is that it's not the reality.
So true.
Like
so true.
I've obviously come across situations where I've seen people be compared to other people, you know? And the comparison is very much unfair because we compare each other based on people's strengths alone, and on their side we look at their strengths and what's working for them, and then on our side we look at our failures and our strengths. That's already an unequal balance. You know, you will find that you compare yourself with people who have different households. You know, let's say you're a person who comes from an unhealthy household. You know, you are just you know you're learning to deal with what do people in unhealthy households deal with? Like, you know,
do you want me to tell you?
You know, maybe you were not loved at home. You know, you lack self-confidence. You all of these things. You know, and you're looking at a person who comes from a very healthy home in which they've encouraged.
Let's not even go as far as healthy. Let's just say you come from a home where you don't need to pay black tax. Like, you come from a home where as soon as you get a job, they actually gift you with a house. And guys, I've seen that. I don't know if that was actually a thing. Where else, like, when back at home, you getting a job just means like you're now the breadwinner. So, like, literally, you can have co-workers who are doing all of these things for themselves, and you're on the same salary.
Because you would literally be working the same job, right? A person will be going with a Mercedes Benz when you're on your way to catch a taxi.
Bro, and you literally like just wonder, like, how?
And to be honest, if you're gracious with yourself enough, you will see good you're winning in your situation.
So true.
You will literally see that you're winning. And I think the analogy of comparison is so beautiful because it really brings a perspective to say that you need to be able to be grateful in order to see that you're winning. Because also, the truth is we come from different places.
So true.
Where we were and where we are is two different places.
So true.
But sometimes you don't even see that, that the difference because you're looking at what's happening in other people's lives.
Yeah.
And one thing I believe the enemy is continuously doing is to amplify those things in other people's lives because the thing about jealousy, right? Jealousy is a secondary emotion, right? It comes from somewhere, right? So, for example, if I were to be jealous in this relationship, me and you, right? You know, for you guys who don't know, Zigia's nyash, you know?
Oh my gosh,
it's true. You know, let's say I was jealous of that nyash, right?
Of all things.
It's simple, but it's true. These things are happening. Yeah. If I was an insecure person, it will eat me up. So it's not that I'm jealous of you particularly, it's the primary problem is that I'm insecure.
Yeah.
And instead of dealing with that weakness in myself, I project it on you and say that I'm jealous of Tamia. And people who are not smart enough to understand what is the initial emotion before this thing that we project on other people would realize that it comes a lot with facing yourself. And many people don't face themselves. Every single morning you wake up, you do everything that you're supposed to do, and then you ignore yourself because you don't want to deal with all the emotions that you're going through, you know? Because like right now where I am, like Kunigi, there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
But that's why I've prioritized so much my routine in the morning, you know? And you know, so for people who don't know, we started this prayer thing where we wake up every morning and pray at 4 a.m.
together. I love that for us.
I know, right?
And we were so consistent at it.
Getting healed. And you know, we pray, we read the Bible, you go to gym and all of that stuff. And usually when I don't do when I do my routine, I come out in a headspace of, you got this.
Yeah.
You have a good support system. You have God. You've come from. It takes me the opportunity to actually reflect on everything. You know, and that gives me strength to move forward. You know, but when I don't actually face myself and go out throughout the day, I use the little resources I had from yesterday, and they continue to deplete. Until you get to a point whereby, have you ever felt so emotionally overwhelmed that you feel like you can't breathe, not physically, but like you're suffocating?
That was me as well. I went to sleep and I was 7. 7.
It's true. I was calling this girl because we had work to do.
Mind you, I have a husband and a child. Like, I was just like... I went to bed at 7 because, like, I was that exhausted. Like, I couldn't bring myself to, like, stay up anymore. So I feel you.
Yeah.
I definitely feel you.
Okay.
And I think the reason why is because we skipped prayer that morning. We did skip prayer that morning. I don't know what happened. I ended up late and I couldn't join in the session. And you literally feel it. Like, I feel it on mornings where I don't actually, like, face myself, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Where I don't engage in prayer. When I don't actually give myself time to, like, process exactly what is going on. Because one thing about the enemy, he will lie to you. He will lie to you. And, like, once you get so consumed in just life, you begin to lose sight of actual reality, because most of the time it's not as bad as you think it is.
True.
You just have to look closely enough to actually see that you're doing okay.
Do you know what I've learned to do when it gets so hard?
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's so cliche. But then I walk outside, right?
Yeah.
I look at the trees and the birds, right?
Yeah.
And I just go back to Genesis 1 verse 1 in the beginning, you know, when he started creating these things. And I say, these are basically evidence that God is alive. Those are birds. Yeah. That's a tree that has been there for hundreds of years and it's standing. It's evidence of him, you know, taking care and, you know, ensuring that every season, no matter how different the season was, the tree still remains. So if you ever see me in the street looking at a tree,
walking around like a crazy
person, you know, it's just getting in touch with reality.
Yeah.
Because they even say, psychology just says that sometimes a change in environment is good. Sometimes you're just locked in your house for too long. True. You're locked in the office, or you're not seeing the sky.
Or you've just been scrolling on Instagram for too long.
Girl, are you speaking about yourself?
I am. I have this bad habit of doom scrolling, especially when I'm stressed.
Yes.
Yo.
But you know what I find funny about doom scrolling?
Yeah.
Like, you're literally going through a life crisis and you're like, pause.
And you just laugh in the middle.
Yes. You know, but then I feel like with doom scrolling, sometimes it's necessary.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a break.
I'll forgive myself a bit more.
Yeah.
Because it leaves me feeling so terrible.
Yeah, no, you know, sometimes when you doom scroll for so long, you're even tired of laying down or sitting.
Yo.
Okay, but we digress.
Okay.
So seeing that the topic is acting your age, right? I want to know, do you think that you've been acting your age?
Oh, Sana. I'm not sure, and I'll tell you why. I don't think so, because I feel like, okay, this is my opinion, obviously my reality, right? I am, if you don't know, I am 24. I'm 24 years old. I'm married. I have a child. I have a business, right? Besides that, like I'm living a very conservative life, but like to say the least, right? The only place where I go, where I'm saying like I'm going out is when I'm going to church on Sunday, and like it's not really by choice. I wish I was going places, right? I think a part of me sometimes I feel like maybe I have this fear that like maybe I'm not like living life, I'm not enjoying life or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, because a part of me is like, am I boring? Like, are my age mates like enjoying themselves, right? So sometimes I feel like I'm not acting my age because I see them. I see the girls are out on the streets
And they out on the
looking
street.
like Beyonce, you know, like looking like they like having the time of their lives. And to be completely honest, like when I am like with myself, like I'm happy with myself, I'm happy with my life for sure. But when someone says act your age, a part of me is like, am I acting my age? Like, did I rush to settle down? Did I? Or I don't know. Was I too fast? Especially like in this generation, I feel like people are getting married later. People are having kids much later. So I look at people who are older than me, like in their 30s, and they are just like single girlies, like with white sheets and like just living their best lives. All they worry about is Pilates or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I have responsibilities, like, right? I have a home to take care of, right? So sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not acting my age. And some days I'm grateful for it because I'm like, I love my husband, I love my kid. Like, I love where I am. But then, like I said, when the comparison kicks in, I'm just like, okay. Like,
did I eat or not?
Listen, am I acting my age? I don't know. Oh, how about you?
I'm gonna come back to that.
Yeah.
Am I acting my age? So I am 24 as well. I remember when I was younger, I promised myself that I'd move out at the age of 25.
Okay.
I did. I literally did.
Wow.
So I think it's difficult for me because when I think of acting my age, it's not really physical. So sure, I have a job that I can't believe I got. Was it a mistake? We don't know. I live alone, you know. I'm not in a relationship. I think I'm more bothered at the fact that I'm not bothered by it. Because like I feel like I'm at a place where I'm just so busy. I'm so overwhelmed with like everything that I'm doing. At this point, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like it's a lot, you know, that it's hard for me to actually invest in my social relationships. It's hard for me to invest in like connecting with people. Like I just feel so overwhelmed by all these responsibilities and everything. And another thing about me is that like I consume everybody's worries. And I think as I'm growing up, I'm beginning to realize that it's more of a trauma response. Because when I was young, we're gonna give that story another day, okay? I went through a lot. I was telling my brother about some of the things that I went through, right? And then he was telling me, he's like, I don't know if you need therapy or serious vacation. I was like, you know me so much, eh? And so when I was young, I would go through all of these things and I wouldn't share them, right? Not that I didn't have the platform to share, but because it was the safest thing not to do. So I would keep it. But I always wish that somebody would say, hey, let's have the conversation. Like, I don't want you to, you know, like, let's not go into like solving, but like, let's have the conversation and give like just a simple hug, you know? And to be quite honest, that will never nobody would ever assume that I want a hug because like I don't really like physical touch like that. Maybe it's another trauma response on us. But like so like usually when I interact with people, right, and I hear whatever it is that they're going through, like I adapt it as my own and I care for it the way the younger me would have wanted
Someone else
to care for it, you know. And it means that like there's so much that I'm carrying, you know? And one thing that I've realized, that's why I think going back to what we spoke about earlier on that prayer is very important to me because it's where I debunk. It's where I say, okay, God, this is everything. Like I carried this the whole day. I'm leaving it here and like I'm trusting that you got it, you know? And so with growing up, for me, it has always been about healing, like genuinely getting to a point whereby I look at everything that has happened and I'm not triggered by it. Because like I know that a lot of people, they think healing is let me run away from my triggers and not engaging with them, you know? But healing is getting to a point whereby you're able to face your triggers and you don't have to what's the word? You don't have to go through an entire week of healing after you've gone through that trigger. It becomes less and less over time. And you don't get to a point whereby you spill over to the next person, you know? So acting my age is more of a mental thing, like really. Like I really be listening to people who like I feel like are mentally, there, and I'm like I aspire for that, because I want to be like my deepest desire is to be a safe place. Like I can't explain that to you enough. And so getting there, is something that I aspire. Like I see everything else. Like I see the physicalness and the finances and but I want to be a safe place. But being a safe place also means that having time to invest in the relationships around me, which I feel I'm failing daily. Like I have this little tracker, right? On the tracker I literally have specific people who I should be calling, and sometimes I do mess up and like I miss a couple of days, and but yeah, I'm trying. So am I acting my age? No, because I think I'm still I'm still moving forward. Like there's progress. But like it's not where I want to be. It's not where I want to be. How are the relationships in my life looking? Oh my gosh, like at this point I don't even want people to take my WhatsApp number because like it's not the real reflection of who I am. I'm just genuinely very busy right now. And I think the busyness is very normal, especially at our age, but I think that also our level of busy is not normal sometimes, to a point whereby like you actually, like I tend to disassociate from reality because it's like just so busy. Like if it's not a person who I'm constantly engaged with, like you could see me literally after 2 years. And that's bothering to me. And many people don't know that because they think that, no, she's very nonchalant and she really is unbothered by it. So, yeah, I hope I answered that question.
You did. You really did. Very deeply, but you did. You really did. Okay. Based on like everything you've said, and I feel like you've answered it like to some extent, but like, do you feel like let's talk about like falling behind?
Yeah.
Right. There is, like we said, like this concept that like you're supposed to be like at a specific place or be doing something. And I think again, the falling behind, you can only fall behind if like you see yourself as being like in the same race as someone else, which again goes back to comparison.
Yeah.
So like, do you like what's this idea of like falling behind, and like how do you resonate with that? Like, do you feel like, do you sometimes like look at other people like, okay, I'm falling behind, this is where I should be and this is where I'm at?
I think I used to. Like I think I used to be like, for example, when I was still studying and my mates would like, they decided not to study further and they got the jobs, and I would celebrate people, or they got their car and all of these things. Like literally people I would tutor would bag companies that I would love to work for. Like it was crazy. Like it was so crazy. And I actually had to sit myself down, like literally sit myself down and come to the reality that we all have different goals, number one. I had to sit myself down and realize that we all come from somewhere different, you know? And that's where I came to the realization of being graceful enough to be realistic with your reality, right? That doesn't mean that you have to not tell yourself that you're going to be a millionaire and all of that stuff. No. What that means is acknowledge your progress, you know? So one of the ticks that I have on that thing is be grateful. so I had to ask myself, was I grateful today? Like even today, like I have to go and reflect on what is it that I was grateful for, you know, and writing down, okay, this is where we were, this is where we are. And it doesn't have to necessarily always be financial and all of that stuff, although those things are very, you know, good pillars. Just looking at things such as, you know, like small things as well. So yeah, so I used to be there falling back, and falling back is painful, yo. Like if you're in that mindset of saying that you're falling back, like your peers are out here going to Dubai, you're still using a taxi.
Taxi yang stress. I totally agree. I think that's also something that, like, thankfully I've gotten over. But like, I think it comes to realizing again, like you said, that like we are all in different places, we're in different spaces, and we're not all going to the same place. Again, we're not in the same, it's not a race. Like, we're all different, our journeys are different, and realizing that actually, like, Usman Bani is like in their reaping phase and I'm still planting, right? It's so important to like put your situation into context and say it's not necessarily that you're falling behind, it's just that the route you're taking is different from someone else's, so you can't actually compare. It's an actual thing. And the most cliche thing, comparison is the thief of joy.
True.
But it's so true. And another thing is that, like, things always seem so hard from the outside. Like, you can look at someone and be like, oh my God, they're killing it, they have everything, but they also have things that, like, they are desiring for, that they are working towards, that, like, maybe you already have, right? So there is no such thing as falling behind, because you can't actually compare to different people's lives. It doesn't work like that. So if you are in a space where you feel like you're falling behind, and I was, like, couple of months ago, not even that long ago. And I think the only way to actually, like, I don't want to say get over that, but like grow over that, because like you have to actually work through it, is by realizing that you cannot compare. You cannot compare. People are different. Your journeys are different. You're not going to the same place. Your life is not going to be the same. Like we said, your circumstances are not at all the same.
Yeah. You know, and in the church, we like to say that your time of blessing will come and all of that stuff. I had a very interesting conversation with somebody the other time, and they said, what if you don't get blessed? What if it doesn't get better? What if you do everything you're supposed to do and it doesn't work out? Then what? Because there's this notion that when you get into a specific place, that's when you'll feel freedom and that's when you'll feel joy and all of that stuff. But what if you never get there? What if that's something your generations are supposed to experience and not you?
That kind of makes me realize, like what you're saying right now, is that as long as you're holding on to a particular thing or event to come to pass, you'll forever feel behind, because like even if you do get it, and sometimes you really don't, like you'll forever be moving the goalpost forward, right? And what if that thing, like you're saying, really is not for you? It's not meant for you. It's not in your path, right? Are you gonna now base your whole life's purpose or your whole joy, or waste like living? Because I think that's what we do. Like, we are waiting for something to happen. You're waiting to buy the car, you're waiting for the job before you can actually breathe, before you can actually be happy, before you can actually like be excited about things. And the truth is, it's not supposed to be the actual thing, but more like inside. Because like really true joy, true satisfaction, true contentment, I believe it only comes from Jesus. If you're finding it somewhere else, like, it's not real.
That's deep. I think that the thing about reality, right? If your goal is a shadow instead of an actual goal, that's when you'll never find satisfaction. So a shadow is something that looks real but it's not actually real, something that you dream about but don't work towards, something that you want to achieve but not willing to sacrifice for. You want to be comfortable but you want that goal. That is not a goal, that is a shadow. And so Delulu is cute, but when Delulu is a shadow, it will become the end of you, you know? And so I think even when you're at your age, you need to get to a place whereby you're not just making risks, but you're also making calculated risks, especially if you're going to say that your happiness is going to depend on this, you know? But then also, remember, the world is not so linear that you can literally make this one plan and, you know, it will go greatly and accordingly, you know? And so I think that the whole concept of... Another thing is that happiness is something that lasts literally seconds. So running after happiness makes no sense because you're running after something that's going to last for seconds. So you will never find happiness. But joy, on the other hand, is something else. Because joy is an attitude of gratitude. Joy is an attitude of recognizing where you are, recognizing what other people are doing for you. Joy is being able to smile through the difficulties. But the thing is that the reality that we're in, people will run after happiness because it's more exciting.
And it's more tangible.
Yeah, it's more tangible. And so I think it's a crazy concept. But yeah.
I love that. So in essence, our conclusion, right? We need to actually unlearn the idea of acting your age. There is no such thing. That I think acting your age is code for look at what other people are doing. It's just a trick to have you comparing yourself to other people. And I think, for example, with us, like we are so different. Like I said, I'm married with a kid. And like so many responsibilities, obviously, like, and you are like, on the other hand, like she's the girl that I talked about with the white sheets.
Literally.
Like you could literally have a white couch and a all white apartment, like, right? Like she just moved into a new place. She's single and searching. But like, this is just to say that like her and I are so different. Like we're in such like polar opposites, like of when you like look at our day-to-days, right? If someone was comparing the two of us,
It
like
wouldn't make sense.
it wouldn't make any sense at all. Like in fact, like if I was comparing myself to you, I'd end up very unhappy. And I'm sure like vice versa, because like it's just not the same, right? Like you can't do that. Like it makes no sense. You will never actually like, it won't balance, and it'll just leave you feeling so miserable. It's so important to look at your own situation, your own circumstance, and like most importantly, like where you want to go. And like I feel like that question was so important because like most people, you think you know what you want, but you don't.
It's a shadow.
Exactly. Like you're actually just looking at what other people are doing and like you want it for yourself. You're being told what you want.
Can I say something? Buying a car is not a goal.
Please. Getting married is not a goal.
It's not a goal. That's the thing. People are looking at shadows and basing those on their happiness. Those are not goals. Those are things that because another thing is a goal is something you can attain, right? You work towards attaining. How are you going to work towards attaining a happy marriage?
When you probably are still single.
Yes, you're still single, right? So shouldn't it be, okay, let me work towards being the woman who will be received by that man?
Because really, like, all you can do, because, like, again, they say that the best thing you can do for your marriage is work on yourself.
Exactly.
Because when you are your best self, when you show up, like, you know, as the best version of you, that's when you're actually able to fill someone else's cup and be kind and, like, serve someone else, because that's what marriage is. So it's like with your goal needs to be something that is you, within you, not something out of your control, not something, I don't think it should even be anything physical. It's nice, yes, and I guess it's easiest to mark, but like have something deeper than that.
It's like, you know what I loved about when we made our vision boards this year?
Yeah.
That we
That
didn't
was so
look at,
cute, y'all.
right? So when we said, okay, cool, this is what we want. Oh, we need to wrap
Yeah,
up.
we need to wrap up.
This is what we want, right? But then we said, okay, cool. Rather, let's look at the processes that are going to lead us to be the people we want to be. You know? So if you look at our vision boards, it's literally daily things that we are achieving every single day, you know, and then here and there we have those, you know, those elements that are like, okay, yes, markers and all of that stuff. And so I think it's also being be gracious with yourself before you set those goals,
and let the process be the goal,
Yes.
not like the physical thing.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to say I wish to have abs, but like it's even better to say I wish to be a person that consistently goes to the gym. It's
true.
You know, that's actually something that you can actually like fix your eyes on and enjoy doing and actually achieve. Because what if your genes just don't allow six-pack? I know that's a sad reality to think about, but there literally are some people who physically cannot attain a six-pack.
It's so true. It's so true. And then you find out you can't have a six-pack and you're unhappy. Anyway, we've come to the end.
Yes, it's so short. I think we need to make... I've seen podcasts that are like 1 hour. My husband watches podcasts that are almost 3 hours. And we initially were like, 30 minutes is good enough, but like I think we need to make them a bit longer because there's so much to be said.
But you guys should let us know. Should it be longer? What do you want to hear?
Comment down below. Comment down below. Is 30 minutes too short? Should we make the episodes a bit longer? What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be seeing you in episode 3. When
thank you so much.
Right?
Yeah. Like, thank you so much for watching, and we will unravel again.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and we will unravel again on the next episode. Bye.